We will have Team Moon Moon, featuring, of course, a couple of wolves and a moon in their icon, face off against Earthworm Defense Force, last season's Cup breakout, if I dare call them that, and I do dare. They stayed in the same division numerically. Of course, last season Division 5 was the lowest division, and now it's not. So they've gone up quite a bit in between seasons. To be fair, they looked very, very good in the Cup, and I'm not surprised at all to see them actually in not the lowest division anymore. First game of the season for both of them, if I'm not mistaken. And, well, both teams they're here, for one. They entered the lobby very fast for another. And both teams have got portrait synergy. I love them already. And they're also both ready. So, without further ado, let's head into map number 1. Which is going to be Brax's Holdout. We've had bans onto Dragonshire and Battlefield of Eternity. And a Braxis pick. Now that's spicy. Although it's not even the first Braxis I've seen this season, which is something I can't quite say most seasons. Like last season, it took like 12 casts before Braxis showed up in my casting pool, but this is like the second one, and we see a very fast ban onto a Maiev by Team Moon Moon. They've done their research. Genji ban coming out in return because I know Amaroon plays a very, very nasty Maiev that does require some form of banning out. Genji, of course, on Brax's Holdout is king of rotations, being able to put so much pressure on that top laner, and well, that's not what you want if you don't have anyone who can play Genji, or in fact he's first pick for his ban material on this map, so banning him out as a second pick team is very smart. Diablo, of course, still one of the more dominant tanks out there, so he's going to be removed off the field. No barbecuing of Zerg for him today, and that leaves EDF with the second ban now coming in. They have 2 more seconds. And it is going to be a ban onto the Garrosh because the lanes on this map are infinitely short. Well, not really infinitely short. That's kind of a contradiction in terms. And if you get caught out in the bush below the point, you can get flipped into towers. Not what you want, I would say. So banning him out is very worthwhile. A first pick the hack, however, is very interesting by Team Moon Moon. Oftentimes on this map you see solo laners going very late because of the importance of the point. This has changed a bit now that we actually have interrupts work as they do on this map. Right now you stand on the beacon and it cancels any charges. So there is some merit. There is less merit to picking it late because you're not as forced to get a dominant solo laner over your opponent. But still, it is not the norm by any stretch. Mal'Ganis and Gul'dan have been very successful so far this evening, both winning at least one game. Gul'dan won 2 on stream. Okay, we're just going into all kinds of interesting stuff as we have Kel Fuzad coming in. The Lich versus the Dreadlord. Let's see which of these Warcraft-free undead heroes are actually going to come out on top. Thrall also joining in, which makes the Haka the non-Warcraft hero in the bunch. I mean, maybe he can tunnel to Azeroth, I don't know. Oriel and Deckard being banned, both banning out a bit of healer. Oriel has pretty good long-term sustain. Also doesn't require any mana, which is really useful on this map because sustaining is a key on this map. Deckard, of course, is still one of the top supports in the game. provides a lot of kill pressure with those roots, and those roots into a Gul'dan is going to be an issue. We do now see that Cassia and Alexstrasza are joining in, and the Cassia is just going to add a lot more damage, and the Alexstrasza is just very solid, but has a couple of downsides in that her sustain only really comes online later on. If you go for Q build, level 7 is where you hit a big sustain spike. If you go for W build, this is probably not the map for it, so I'm assuming it's going to be Q. And that means that Alexstrasza is prone to running out of mana. We'll need to, if she doesn't manage her heals carefully. Dragon Queen, however, is of course a very strong, very strong ability. So, yeah. We see Stitches Malfurion coming in. I'm never going to argue against Stitches Malfurion. It is a combo for the ages. They have roots and stuns on every single one of their characters. The Haka, it's a stun on the Haka, root and stun on Kel'Thuzad, root and potentially stun on Thrall, stun on Stitches, and root on Malfurion. Silence for added bonus. That is a scary comp by Team Moon, and we have Sonya joining in as the last one for Missy X on the EDF side. Sonya the Haka, did I warp back to 2017 by accident? Because that sounds very familiar indeed. And yeah, Alex, weak versus Kel'Thuzad as well. That's also a point, like, but not a lot of, like, the best, legitimately one of the best supports into Kel'Thuzad is Uther. But running Uther on Brax's holdout requires a lot of skill and a lot of dodging damage and shenanigans, and that's not like this to the point where I'd say that even Division 1 teams are going to have issue with it. We are in the game now though, and that means that on the left hand side, as we have 25% boost, 25% more experience coming in, we have Team Moon with PoppinFresh on the Malfurion. Yimek is the Thrall. Torask, excuse me, is Kel'Thuzad freaking Zad. Proximo is the Haka. He's going to be waddling bot before digging top. And last but not least, that leaves Maladriel on the Stitches. They're up against their Team Moon, and up against them, EDF, Earthworm Defensive, Missy X in the top lane on Sonya and Wonder William. We have Amaroon playing the Gul'dan. Jaldrin is the Alexstrasza. Blackstained is Mal'Ganis, and Tar Crispo is playing the Cassia. And on level 1, we have Stitches going to Slam build. It's a 4-man Thrall. Crash Lightning makes a bit more sense. Root, stun on Root come there. There's another stun though. Root is still here, and that's a Root and another Root. That's a lot of damage coming on to Blackstained, who has to use all of his survivability skills just to stay alive, but he does do so. But that was a near kill onto a very tanky target, and the Haka coming in very nicely after the hook landed on the gate. Nicely done. Crash Lightning Throw, as mentioned. We have Bob change for Kel'Thuzad. It's a Slam build. Stitches. Malfurion going for the Shambles Clarity, which Kel'Thuzad's going to love. The Haka opting for Tissue Regen. On the other side, it's Echoed Corruption, War Pains, Live and Live, Q build. We have Thunderstroke for Cassia and the Time to Feed from Morgana. Second time I've seen that tonight. It makes a bit of sense and a bit on one hand and not really on the other, because it's a more self-sustaining thing, which is always good, I think. And Vampiric Aura, which is the other talent that I've seen on Morgana's at level 1, is often let's just say it's anti-synergetic with Gul'dan, because his auto attacks don't really do much. Cassia, however, does like it quite a bit, but the Q build Cassia prefers poking from afar to auto attacking, although really auto attacks are still woven in. Chains coming out. There's a root, but the chain itself misses. Came out onto Jordan. There's Morgana asleep. Hits several people. Toras dropping very low, 200 health. Does survive. Nice root there from the Malfurion as well. There is a chain and root, and that's a now shot. Popping dragon form. Amaroon dropping very low, 200 health. Gets the drain life intro, but Alex does have the gift of life to keep him alive. And everyone on the side of EDF is very low. Amaroon, Blackstain, and Jaldron all below 20% health, and that forces a triple back, which means Tar Crispo is the only one here. And more importantly, that means that Sonya, who's had to pop back and tap, has to take this point now, but not before taking 48% of enemy Zerg wave already channeled. That's a very good start here for the blue team, Team Moon, who now are sieging up in the bot lane. The gate is down. That's going to make stages have a lot more fun, and Toras gets another set of chain and roots coming in. 40 stacks on Master of the Cold Dark, 2 minutes 55 in, is pretty solid, and that is only going to aggravate the problem that EDF have with this Calphazard in this game. They're now looking to rest themselves onto the point here in bot lane. Morgana's engaged with the Fell Claw as Jordan pops a runs in the backline. Toras dropping very low, but Mafurian is going to heal him back up. And now he's just going to drop back a bit. Root came out the icy spike as the mages are trained out on the mage, not the mage damage. Root comes out onto Morgana's. Daka dug in and secures the kill. Nicely done. If you dig, this is what you should get. They do give up a couple of points of Zerg charge, but so they did get 18% for themselves. And that is just a very good start for Team Moon. I can't say it enough. That's Calphazard on 17 stacks. 4 minutes in. I'll take it. I'll definitely take Calphazard stacking this early. Even if you have to die for it, also means you don't have any mana problems. You trade out. So that's all good. Like, the late game is in your advantage. Jarden now getting hooked, rooted, and murdered. Strangling Vines coming in there from Malfurion as well, just to make sure that he doesn't do all that much healing. It's not as good as, say, an Emerald into an Alexstrasza, but it can still have its uses. Beanbag now taking a bit too much damage. Is also very low on mana and did not go for the Mana Tide at level 4, so this low mana is an issue. But you know what else is an issue? The Zerg wave that's going to bear down on top. Gul'dan will need to rotate to help clear this. So Sonya does a pretty decent job at whittling it down, especially if she dodges the drag bite hacker like that. But now the rest of EDF is just rotating and leaving only Morganis, who can fend for himself in bowling. That's maybe a bit of a premature Dragon Queen being caught, but it does mean that there will not be any form of shenaniganry moving in. But now that's a dragon being thrown in. That's a root coming out. That's another root coming. That's Dalvin being deleted from the game. Nexus Force is getting the last hit, but really Calphazard has been on point this game so far with these chains and roots coming in, hitting so many people and already getting up to 22 stacks. Guardians are still alive here, and there's a minion wave here as well. Hook comes out, misses onto Tar Crispo as Missy goes in, but there's a root from the throw. That's the root from the Calphazard, and the root from Malfurion isn't quite on point. Missy X, however, does need to be careful. Throw moves in, did go for the follow through, which means we'll probably see a Sundering at level 10, going for a more of a one-shot build style comp here. But we, for now, Missy X is just making sure that these minions do die. Team Mumu came away with a level lead here though. That's very healthy indeed. Bot lane has also taken significant damage. Like the wall is gone here. Like there's no front walls at either fort anymore. The well is also gone on both sides, and that's going to make Sonya's life in particular a lot harder here in this adjusted soul lane, as she's now gone bot. The hacker has Harfed. Going for some mana. Camps are being taken. Bruise camp here by Team Moon, and the Hellbats, the siege camp by EDF. They're going to clash. The Bruises the Raven and the Goliaths do win that in the end. Chain comes out, but Blackstain is wary to the Lich's tricks. Does dodge it. Level 7 has given us the wild growth for Malfurion, which is pretty decent. Sleep does count as a stun, so wild growth would clear out the sleep from Morgana's on HQ, excuse me. But on the other hand, there's not a lot of other CC that is present and cleansable. Crucially, Horrify wouldn't be effective. So you only have Morgana's to sleep and any form of Sonya Spear and maybe Leap to cleanse. So going from Wild Growth is probably fine if you suspect that there will not be any form of Morgana's shenaniganries involved. Maladrio moving in, looking for the Gorge target. He did pick that up. Sunder's also in Shadow Fisher and the Isolation, excuse me. Morphurian's just holding it. Given this game, given that there's a Sonya on the Morgana's on the enemy team, I would expect to see maybe a Twilight Dream. Also, I forgot that Felclaws has a stun on the third swipe, but that's not a long stun if I recall. So again, not really a point to consider. Proximon taking a lot of damage, but he is being held. He's being given some room by Taras, giving covering fire. Crispin in a lot of trouble. Does nearly full hook for the kill, and that's one person going down in a 9v10 fight. And that's not good, but we see Black Saint looking to aggressively disengage here. And that's Gul'dan completing his Echo Corruption. That's pretty good. Hook comes out, but it misses everyone. Jaldrin and Ambrun splitting nicely. But there's now a minion wave and a Zerg here as well. But Jaldrin pops that, but does get dragged by the Dahaka. Does need to be careful there. The Dragon Transformation does keep you in place for a moment, and that did allow Proximo to move up to her. Sonya has not gone for Leap as it is in the Twilight Dream on the Morphurians. It's Horrify, it's Wrath of the Berserker, Cleansing Flame, the Valkyrie, and the Dark Conversion. Haven't seen that one yet. My guy's now going. Morphurian gets in with the Valkyrie. Nicely done there by Crispo. Black Saint moving in, looks for something, but he's dragged back. Is he going to be able to get out alive? I don't know. He tries to use Dark Conversion there, but uses it on the Dahaka, who just says, no, I'm just going to burrow out. Also, there's a kill. That's a kill onto Morgana's though, and the Gul'dan, and Crispo is staying alive for far longer than he should. He vanished off the field for just a moment there because he was gorged, but that is a triple kill in the end in favor of Team Moon. In the meanwhile, Sonya did sneak up to top to get this camp, but to get the beacon, and now she's taking camp. But there's another camp being taken here. The boss is being deleted by this comp here. Tel'Thuzad doesn't have the greatest siege damage, but is no slouch, nor is any others. And the boss is now going to barrel down Elaine as Jaldrin is hooked very nicely. Morphurian not quite in position, but Morgana's in. There's a Thunder coming out. Does only hit Jaldrin though. He does not have either ult or Dragon Queen, if I'm not mistaken, so not much to be done. And it's a whiff. Nobody dies. I say a whiff, but this is still very much in the advantage of Team Moon, because they do have a boss barreling down bot lane, and that is going to do some damage. Although they are a bit dawdling a bit, perhaps, because they are still level 13, and so not level 13 for the EDF, as we have a double disconnect here. That's usually time for a pause, as we see. Double DC, yeah, can't do much about that. Is there any way to change resolution on this? I'm streaming in 720p 60. So yeah, my computer complains when I go to 1080p. So yeah, that is like I don't have the best of setups. 720. Excuse me. If it's lower than that, that is probably not my issue. I haven't got any dropped frames and I haven't fiddled with settings, so okay. But looks like the DCs have been solved, so I'm just going to head back into the game. 3, 2, one. There's the pause break button, and there is the resummation of this game as Jordan immediately gets rooted. Kel'Thuzad lands a nice chain there as the Valkyrie, Horrified, Twilight Dream on Cleansing Flame all come out. It's a kill onto them off here, and Blackstone moves in, tries to find more. Darkcrisp will getting a lot of damage in, but also gets eaten for his trouble, and now he's in the fort. That's an issue. He does get a counter kill onto the Stitches though, and that is going to make sure that this is still a 2-for-1 here as the Dragon Queen advances, and that's a very, very nicely done there by the EDF, showing that they're not out yet, taking the fight and winning it a talent tier down. Sonya has rotated top, so that's just going to take the point. We're doing a bit of ring around the roses with the point. 9-4 in kills, but level 13s are now going to be here, and the temporary advantage for the EDF in manpower translates into taking a camp and just clearing out top wave, which does need to happen at some point. You do need experience. Missy X wasn't looking too hot on health, so she'll be happy to you know, kill minions and heal up off on that. Proximo is now in the bot lane as the only one. The rest of Team Mumu is in top lane. Missy X has been warned and is vacating the premises, now joining the rest of her squad in the bot lane, where they are slowly but surely pushing out this wave, killing the minions and making sure that these bruises are going to do something. Bruises are also being taken in the top here. Tarask and company securing it really quickly, and that's going to push in the top lane quite fast because there's no fort there to stop it. But they are now moving into a fortified position already. We see Sonya waiting in the wings. Jordan is maybe stepping up a bit too much, I would say, on the Alexstrasza, but we'll have to see. The buffering is not on my end. I'm having no drop frames. As we see a nice Kel'Thuzad into combination into the Sundering, and that's a kill on Sonya. Cleansing Flame now comes out. We do have Magan is trying to sleep everyone. Cleansing Flame still doing a lot of work. Amaru's out of man though. Silence comes out, but I think it whiffed onto everyone. Valkyrie also is, and Blackstain, after living once with his dark conversion, now does fall. Darkcrisp needs to get out, but I don't think he has movement speed to get out. He gets nicely dragged there by Proximo. Nicely done waiting. Keeps himself alive for quite a bit more, but no, it's not enough. And that is 12 kills to 4 and level 16 now here, and that's going to be an issue. Level 16 plus Zerg Wave onto the bot lane, and they're already sieging this lane down. Kel'Thuzad going for the Hungering Cold here, which has an interesting icon. I'm not sure if that seems like a bit of a placeholder. Alpha Wolf for all, of course. If you go for Frostwolf Pack, you go for Alpha Wolf. We have Elongated Tongue, Nature's Balance, and the Fishing Hook, because what's this game without a little fishing? Dragon Queen being popped here. It's a level, they're talented down, so they can't really find anything. Isolation hit onto the Sonya, but Proxima can't follow it up. Blackstain moving in, Fear comes out onto the Dahaka. Sunder is also there, but only hits people into the Dahaka. He has an essence pop. That's a nice deletion though onto the Cassia. Kel'Thuzad coming in. Magan's also being deleted. Sonya has been hooked and gorged, and now in a lot of trouble, does fall. And now this is looking like a game-ending scenario. Only Amaroon on the Gul'dan and the John on the Alexstrasza are alive, but there is so much Zerg here, and they need to also get some health, and well, health is one thing. The core can't fall. And just for this, we like Lounge's affiliate on Lounge's affiliate on Twitch, and you need a certain amount of viewers, I think, to get the toggle options. I'm not having any drop frames at all. Nor am I having in-game lag spikes. I think. I might be wrong. Map picks was EDF. Map picks was EDF. They've now gone for first pick, but it is also going to be, and there's going to be a bit of a break I'm assuming there is some form of shenaniganries going on with, I know, toilet breaks. So while they're in a break, I'm also going to head over to the break screen as we await the map that is being picked by the by Team Moon. And I should find the break screen. There we go. It's now that time. Let's meet back and forth. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back and both teams are ready. So let's going to be a moment before I tell them to go, because first I need to do that. But yeah, we should be going very shortly. In game number 2, we'll be heading into Volskaya Foundry, and I don't know who told you that I nearly opened the sandbox, but I certainly wasn't. Oh wait, I just did, didn't I? I hated it when that Blizzard put these two next to each other. Well, let's just make sure that both teams are actually ready. It's go time, so let's start the game. While I set up betting real quick, who will win the second game? Will that be Team Moon, who have second pick? They have opted for the map. Or will it be the Earthworm Defense Force? They want the first pick after their loss. Let's see if they can make something happen with it. So Volskaya was hotfixed, I believe, to mean that you there was a hotfix for Volskaya. I'm not sure if it's live on EU yet, but it doesn't really matter. As we see Maiev and Stitch's bans come out here. Respect bans both sides. I said Amaroon plays a mean Maiev. Volskaya was hotfixed to make sure that you can actually get in the protector when there's while you're being damaged. This is of course a way of making sure that the protector isn't just lost to a random Orphea. Orphea is banned, as all Malfurion and Mungan is. But Orphea is banned until round 3, until round 4 for EU, and round 3 probably for NA. Considering this is either a round 1 or a round 2 game, and I'm assuming it's a round 1 game because it's fairly early on in round 2. Yeah, she's not allowed. And we have, as a first pick for the EDF, it's going to be Diablo. Can't go wrong with the Lord of Terror.
I shall do what I must.
And in response, we see Alexstrasza, a different Spectral Worm Alexstrasza skin, but still Spectral Worm skin, and Greymane by Team Moon. I mean, you have to live up to your name, I suppose, and well, Greymane is about as close as you can get to having a Moon in that brand of Moon in your game. Just checking real quick if it is indeed a round 1 game. It is indeed a round 1 game.
Do your worst.
Ooh, Brightwing and Javel coming in. Brightwing is very interesting these days. Her rework didn't make her super duper hyper popular, but she's still fairly solid as a burst style healer. Now you're wondering, now you're probably wondering, doesn't Brightwing have this passive AoE aura thing? No, she's a burst healer. With her teleport, just making sure that you can get a 20 or 30% heal onto a single target. Also, she's great at mitigating damage. And well, with polymorphs and spell shields, and Greymane is a pretty good polymorph target, turning the wolf into a sheep or a crab or some other critter. I don't know. Garrosh and Li Ming being banned out as by both teams in here. We'll have to see what will now be picked up by Team Moon. It's going to be a Jaina and a Nubrak, which explains quite significantly why Li Ming was banned. Because, well, I know Li Ming's one of the primary counters to Cocoon. There are others, of course, but Li Ming's pretty good at getting people out of cocoons. Lightning Breath is also pretty good, but you don't want to use Lightning Breath on that. Diablo can also dodge Cocoon, by the way, with Lightning Breath, because it doesn't trigger if you're unstoppable. And this just took a turn for the interesting. That's Zeratul Medivh coming in. Zeratul on this map is risky. He's very late game. Medivh alongside Brightwing Yrel is going to make killing anyone on the side of EDF a pain, even if there's a Jaina around, because Medivh is just going to shield. And in last, we see the Tyrael come in by Team Moon. Two very interesting drafts. I'm not going to lie, and I'm interested in seeing how these two are going to work out. There are multiple counters and ways to deal with each team here present. The clumping means that Zeratul has easy targets post 16 for Void Slash. Sanctification and Void Prison always have this kind of interaction. Medivh and Jaina. Jaina wants to land burst combos, but Medivh's there to counter it, but the cooldowns might not align, and if you can bait out to protect it, then then the Jaina can move in and get a kill. Greymane, of course, is fairly standard, but Greymane and Brightwing have some beef with each other, or rather, Greymane wants to eat her, and Brightwing just wants Greymane to die, because that's what Brightwing does. This is very interesting, and I'm not even there could even be a judgment involved, although I would expect not a judgment but a sanctification in this game number 2 between Team Moon. On left hand side, we'll be talking about them in a moment, and the EDF, the Earthworm Defense Force, on the right. We have Amaroon on the Zeratul. Missy X is playing Yrel. We have Black Saint on Diablo. Jaldrin is playing Bewitching Brightwing, and Tar Crispo, name currently not visible, is moving very slowly on Medivh. On the right hand, that's on the right hand side. Left hand side, however, has Team Moon with Proximo on the Tyrael. We have Yimek on the Anubrak. PoppinFresh this time on the Greymane. We have Torask on the Alexstrasza, and that leaves Maladriel on the Jaina. And if I'm not mistaken, there are several role switches here, as Maladriel was Stitch's last game, PoppinFresh was, I think, Malfurion, and Torask was most definitely the Kel'Thuzad. So, bit of role switching here. Also, it's bet A and then the amount of points you want to bet, so might want to add some points. As we have a standard rotational game going on here. Wave clear advantage definitely in favor of Team Moon, but portals do help, and Portal Mastery makes it so Medivh is perfectly safe while being able to provide these portals. However, 1 minute is in. Medivh, please soak these minions here in mid lane. Like, you're giving up the soak. Please soak it. 1 minute into the game, and that means camps are up, which means that PoppinFresh and Maladriel are on it like wasps on honey, or anything sweet, really. And that is going to secure them a turret very fast. This is the effect, by the way, of losing that wave here mid lane. Not only do you lose 80% of a tower, you're also behind quite significantly in the experience. Like, they're behind rotationally, EDF, so it's not a one-on-one translation, but they're behind a full wave, which at this point in the game translates to approximately a quarter to a third of a level. That means level 4 is here earlier on. Also, that's a Dragon Queen build on Alexstrasza. That's interesting. I haven't seen that one in a while. As we have also, let's see, that's Bound by Law for the Tyrael. Also not a standard time. Brightwing going for polymorph build. Saw this at BlizzCon, I think. Think of the group stages. I'm not entirely sure. Medivh and Zeratul and Yrel and Diablo are looking all standard, as are Greymane and Jaina. Newbrag hasn't hit his 4 yet. Level 1 is standard, but the Tyrael 4 and the Tyrael 4 is definitely not standard, nor is the Alexstrasza. But if she can land these flame buffets consistently, And if she can get the quest done in a reasonable time, then you're going to have Dragon Queens on your Dragon Queens. You want a full meme, get the level 20 talent that applies Flame Buff on her Dragon Queen Breath Attack. That is an interesting talent, to say the least. But we are now having the first Protector phase of the game, or rather, we would have, except teams aren't really fighting for it. Now Proximo is moving in, but the point is already being taken by EDF. They're on the point first, as we see Team Moon just wanting level 7, and they're going to get it fairly quickly. Just need one more wave, or just a good amount of trickle to come in. The trickle will probably secure them 7. EDF should probably split up with at least Missy X, there we go, to take level 7. Dreadwind can also just go top lane, soak that, and they can get back for this. Like, they've got 67%, this is fine. Zeratul here in the mid lane, just soaking the experience. They've also got 1 turret, so there's 1 turret each. Healing camp, however, is on the side. Healing item is on the side of Team Mumu, so they have an advantage. And now they're going to look for a second turret, which something you can do. If you take the early, if you take an early turret, then it will be up for any sort of later emergency, because in these kinds of stalemates, percentages are equal now, but advancing in the direction of Timumu. As we see Zeratul moving in very deep, gets the Protector, but is now dropping very low and has fallen there, as Medivh protected only do so much. Black Stallion and Missy X also dropping very low. They do both get out though. Diablo not quite having his 100 souls yet, so he does not have full survivability. He's pretty beefy though at 61 souls, but the first Protector is now on the side of Team Mumu, and is barreling down this mid lane. They're apparently looking for the fort here, which they have better wave clear. They have Greymane, and they have a Protector. This is good. Hero, however, is soaking the offlane. Diablo taking a lot of damage here. Does need to be careful. That he does not stand in the laser. That is generally not good for your health. But this fort here in the mid lane is down. Jaina has rotated bot just to pick up the experience, so not a lot gained there by the Irvel. In terms of value, as Medivh takes a lot of damage. That's a heal for 25%, about 20% of Medivh's health. That was enough damage to kill him outright then. And that is pretty good on the shield. Now taking a lot of damage again, but Portals out. PoppinFresh in a bit of trouble with it. Amaroon is having it up with Tarask, but does Wormhole's been used, and that's the Protector with its dying breath killing the Zeratul, and that's a level lead now in favor of Team Mumu. But Tar Crispo is saying thank you for this clump of 10s are here, but Tar Crispo is on 38 stacks. He'll be able to complete his Master Slash quest fairly convincingly if he doesn't die very soon, which is not likely if you're a Medivh player. At this point, you know you're just going to have to go for safe pot shots, and that is all fine. We have Cocoon Judgment, by the way, Cleansing Flame, Ring of Frost, and go for the throat. So they're just going to select the target, probably Cocoon the Medivh, so the selected target can't be saved, and then it's all lights out. Protected has come out onto the Breadwing as the engage is nullified. Jaina drops the Blizzard to make sure that they do get this turret. They have level 10, so they are wrestling this away, making sure that it cannot go into the hands of EDF. Camp here in the top lane being taken now by EDF. They just want some bit of experience, get some extra push going on. They do need to soak 10s, but they'll have it. I'm not sure, however, if they'll have a big window when the second Protector phase is up, because level 12 will be here for Team Movement by the time the Protector is up. So yeah. 13s might be a legitimate stretch to get by Team Moon, as we do have 10s now here for EDF. It's Blink Heal, Polybomb, Ardent Defender, and the other talents are being held. I'd say Void Prison, and this is the Lightning Breath build so far, but you can still go into a one-shot APOC build with these talents, if I'm not mistaken. It is Void Prison because my Nerazim is not bad talent, but Void Prison is Void Prison. As Proxima moves in very aggressively. We all know Void Prison onto 4 Apocalypse. It's onto everyone. That's a lot of down. Polywomb coming out. There's the item. Ring of Frost has gone down. It's free, but Uriel is takes the item defender. But the Jaina deletes the Zeratul. Nicely done. Breadwing is also down. Cocoon on the Uriel as she heads over the wall. Taras now dropping down, getting the kill onto the Medivh as well. Team Umunar, and only Blackstain and Misty X are left alive. That was a picture perfect Void Prison into Apocalypse, but they did not have the damage just yet. Medivh's maybe also not the best to do alongside that because his damage is very sustainy, grindy. Not the best if you want to go for a blow up comp. Like Zeratul's your only burst damage, but he needs 16 for that to be very effective. If that had happened post 16, that would have been deaths for Team Mumu. But as it was only level 10. That's not enough yet. So EDF now in damage control mode. They will need to make sure that they do not get swept aside by this oncoming protector. They want to try and find a kill somewhere onto the map maybe. But we see Team Mumu just playing it safe, playing defensively, making sure that they do not get caught out by any sort of random Medivh engages or Diablos being in bushes where you wouldn't expect them, stuff like that. Tyrael now even rotating down bot a tiny bit just in case there was a fight coming in, doing the smart thing. You know you've got that point. There's no way EDF can contest. But the blow up potential was real for a moment. But the protector is now here. Proxima is moving in. Amaroon gets some damage in, but he's already used his blink now. That means he will need to be a bit careful for the next couple of seconds. Jaldrin needs to be careful as well, but does have the blink heal to reposition himself. And that now, there's a siege onto the top keep. And Laser comes in. Jaldrin again taking a lot of damage. Second time he's been hit by that, and he can't keep that up. Like if that hits the third time, that's going to be an issue. Now Void Prison onto everyone, but the APOC is just off-timed. Or the VP cancellation, I should probably say. And that does nothing. That's the downside of APOC VP. It's a lot, and if you miss it, that's an issue. Amaroon doing all the damage that he can. Trying to get it to stick though is an issue because there's shields from the protector and there's just so much healing from the Alshazar. Now Amaroon goes in. Diablo also goes in. Maladra is taking a lot of damage, but there's a shield coming out. Cleanse Climb is used. The keep has fallen. There's now for a moment equal talent here, but that will not last as we see the Spectral Worm Alshazar landing and the rest of Team Mumu just casually disengaged. Their position is dominant. And honestly, it's going to take a lot of hard work here for EDF to make a comeback. Because so far, Team Mumu have not looked like they're thinking about giving EDF any form of chance in this game. And then we might just have to see a Hail Mary engage at some point. Maybe here on this bot fort, because that is the logical next point of sieging. Once you clear some waves, you get some camps, you make sure that the enemies are preoccupied in the top lane, which is always going to be pushing against you, and that is the next point of contention, next point where Team Mumu will want to fight. And we see Tyrael already moving in on the wave a bit, like just getting a bit of extra damage in. Nobody from EDF is here, so this is going to do some significant damage. Probably going to take out the entire front wall now that Jane and Alshazar have also committed to this push. But the real prize here is neither. The real prize is the healing well here. And the 4-2, I suppose. But the healing well is the real prize. But we're seeing a trade-off coming in here as EDF decide that we have to give this. We cannot fight. We just want to get to 16. 16 is where we spoke, but now we see a siege wall, a siege onto the keep wall already being done, and with Jaina, Anubrak, and Greymane, that's a very potent siege. And this keep might just have gone down. They've even dropped both turrets for it. VP comes in APOC is in, but it misses yet again. That is an issue. Ring of Frost comes out, hits a couple of people. Judgment's also in. Polybomb, nicely done though, taking out a lot of bite from that combo. Cocoon comes out onto Brightwing. She's not going to care too much, but the keep is down. That's 2 keeps down. 3 levels and a bit lead. 4 levels of stats worth for now. And Team Moon Moon, with this siege heavy comp, just getting the better of EDF, making sure that if you're gonna push, sure, go ahead. We'll do that as well and get more out of it. The world is the oyster. Like, this is a really tough position for EDF. They need to win probably 2 team fights in a row now. The first one will have to be fought over this. They'll have to get 16 first, and that's about, I'd say, 4 or 5 waves away. That's 1. Mid's going to be able to be picked up by Missy, and top should also be available. But that's still going to be some time. You want 16, and also you want Void Prison and other shenanigans. As we see Blackstain now in a bit of trouble, but indeed protected, by the way. Brightwing might be in trouble here. Jaldron going in, getting Judgment in. This is a fight 316. Ring of Frost hits only onto 1, but it is enough. Amaroon in large trouble, does fall APOC just for the disengage, but it's not going to be enough. Blackstain's still going to fall most likely, and that is a dead Diablo, also dead Brightwing and dead Medivh, and dead Zeratul, and is this going to be a dead Jarell? 600 health? Yeah, should be. There we go. Only Diablo left alive. It's a 5v1. Alex is still in Dragon. Never mind that. Items are down. This core is dead. There are minions here as well. And that's game number 2. Going over to Team Moon Moon in exquisitely dominant fashion, getting 11 kills to nothing. Ouch. That's all I'm going to say about that one. Ouch. That must have hurt for EDF. I'm not going to lie. That was a beating by a very well executed composition from Team Moon Moon. Who I now notice on their page have the winner of the last match, Self from Kara, as their next opponent. Oh, the irony. Oh, the irony. Now I'm looking at, just checking to see if, because some of these names do sound a bit familiar. So let's see. Torosk is new, I believe. All time. Yeah, Torosk is new. That was the kill for that. But Proximo has been oh, he was of Massive Anger Disorder. That's where I got his name from. Anyway, that is not germane to discussion. What is germane to discussion is the fact that we might have a winner's interview. So that's us. And so far, no reply, but then again, I've only put it on a bit. Yeah, Massive Anger Disorder. I recognize some of the names, but I'm not good enough that I know everyone in the lounge from the top of my head. Like, I don't have an eidetic memory, sadly. Also, Proximo, if you're here, winner's interview. You're in chat, so you're going to hear this with 30 seconds delay. And he typed it. Sure, we're going to have a winner's interview. The interview room is occupied, so let's go to Match Lounge A. Because, well, there are people in the interview room, so we can't use the interview room for the interview because it's already being used for an interview. Is this an exhibit for you? Waiting for Proximo now, though. Hello and welcome, Proximo of Team Moon Moon. 2-0 victory in pretty dominant fashion, I have to say. How are you feeling?
Feeling pretty good, and thanks for all this.
You cut out for a moment there.
Hello? You hear
You
me?
cut out for a moment there at the end. Not sure what happened.
Mm, does it work now?
Yeah, you're back. You're back.
Okay, I'm here.
So you mentioned that you were on massive anger disorder last season. How'd you end up with this team then?
Like last season was our like a few of us were on the massive anger disorder, but we kind of didn't do really good, and we didn't really practice at all. So we kind of made our own team from like 3 of us on the MAD, and got some guys added to the roster, and we played a lot with, and we practiced, as you could have seen in these 2 games.
So you made your own team with blackjack and hookers.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, that works. And it was fairly successful indeed. We saw in game one also going to come back to that in a moment. We saw a Kel'Thuzad pick come out. Is that something you run more often, or was just like this is Braxis? This is probably one of Kel'Thuzad's best maps. Let's pick him.
Yeah, we were kind of practicing kind of like a couple of compositions, and for Braxis we prepared the Stitches Valve Kel'Thuzad comp. So we were kind of we were kind of happy because we saw the other team, they like to play Maiev Deckard, so we kind of took care of that in draft, which is kind of a good map for them to pick Maiev Deckard. So we went for the kind of counter pick, just burst someone down, and we let the Morganas slip into the draft. We thought we could deal with that kind of easily.
It did happen. You did have the tools to deal with him, so you were correct on that part. Do you think that Morganis in general is pretty good these days, or is it more like?
I feel he's pretty good. Yeah, I'd put him like in top 3 tanks. I'd put him like with Diablo and Garrosh, but he's kind of like in your face all the time. So that's why the kind of Kel'Thuzad Malfurion works against that, because of the Twilight Dream, and Kel'Thuzad can just burst him down while he's silenced. So we kind of expected Morganis to go into the Braxis game.
Yeah, there were plenty of roots and stuns on your team in the Braxis games. I think every single one of your players had every single one of your heroes had a root or a stun or both to deal with any form of Morganis aggression, I suppose.
Yeah, like Morganis is always in your face, so we just pick bunch of CC to take care of that.
So, yeah.
For the second game, we did practice the Tyrell comp with the Judgment, which is kind of risky, especially when we saw the Medivh pick. But I think that we kind of made it work because they didn't really have that much damage. The VP into Diablo APAC was kind of scary, but there was not much to follow up on. So we were kind of like, okay, I'll not go Sanct, I'll go Judgment, and do it like we always do.
Yeah, I think that you would have been in more trouble if that combo had landed post 16. But well, at that point the game was over.
Yeah, we said like when we got into the match, we looked at their draft and we said like we have to go really hard on the early game and try to beat them before 16 or 20, because level 20 Zeratul Diablo is kind of scary. So we're just hoping so we can snowball after the first Trilog.
Which did happen.
Yeah, so it went okay for us.
Yeah, it went okay for you. Do you have any goals for this season in Division 5?
Like last season we didn't do really good, so we're hoping we're gonna do better this game, like this season. But there's no like particular goal. We just wanna have fun and try to win as much as we can.
That is fair. Last but not least, do you have any shout out you want to make?
Shout outs to my team. They're great and amazing. Shout out to my girlfriend Maladriel, who's with me on my team, and her family, which is watching right now on.
Yeah, I did see a couple of them pop in. So, and then a last question from me to you. What on earth is your profile picture?
My profile picture.
on the
On
lounge website. Is it some form of unholy cross of the Hakan Brightwing?
Oh yeah, I found it like the Haka drawing. I thought it was pretty cool, so I put it on.
Like I'm not gonna lie, it's a pretty cool image, but it's kind of unsettling. It's on some
Yeah,
level.
it is. But the Haka is my main. That's why I play him a lot. So I kind of chose that for like EPN purpose.
Ah, fair enough. Anyway, Proximo of Team Moon, congratulations and good luck in your next game. Incidentally, against the other team that won on this stream tonight.
Yeah, I have to see how their games went. I heard they won in fashionable.
I mean, the fact that I picked up your cast should tell you how fast it went.
Yeah, that's what I was saying to my team. Like they ended so fast, and we're playing against them next. So we're gonna check out the stream and see how they play for the next game.
All the info's on the table. You just have to listen to me rambling about more. Anyway, have a great night and good luck next round.
Thank you. Have a great night too.
So that's it. We're done for the night on stream. I believe that all the other casts are done, although I'm not 100% certain about that one's done as well. So everything is done. If you're from EU, there is a game from, and there is maybe one or two games from NA tonight. But that's in a couple of hours, so I'm not going to bother telling you about those except in passing. Like the next one is in 5.5 hours, way past my bedtime. So with that, all I can say is join us back tomorrow because there will be several games going on. If you're from NA, that is several games you can watch while avoiding any family discussions pre-Thanksgiving dinner. This might come in useful. Or not, I don't know. But until then, I've been Omid, and I'll see you next time. Whenever that may be.